Yeah, you only have 3 plans, but you have to pick one for each investor. Plan A is for the seed funds, people that write $500K to $3 million checks, because if you give them plan B, they're going to say, oh, that's too small for us, you're too early. If you talk to micro VCs and angel investors at the beginning of your process and you give them plan A, they're going to say, oh, well, I'm not really under pressure to make a decision. Let's keep talking. So then you give those people plan B, because we create scarcity for those small checks with that plan. And it's true, most of you are going to end up on plan B anyway, just because that's reality for most people. Most people don't get a term sheet on their first try. And then plan big VC is because plenty of big funds in London now. So when you're talking to them and they will reach out, there's no point showing them plan A or plan B, because they're going to say, oh, well, you're too early for us. Keep us updated. Come back in 2 years' time. Instead, we make use of that meeting. We show them a plan to scale this thing ASAP for the next 2 or 3 years and put that money to work. I had a network. So I was already working at Clout. I'd done a couple of startups. I'd worked for Elon Musk's brother in Boulder, Colorado. So I had a network already present, you could argue, but joining Y Combinator was definitely a huge addition to my network. And I would say probably the best part of my network nowadays. So I can't argue against that. And then I would also say that my college network from Oxford is probably as good or a good challenger to that. So I'd say your Imperial network is probably very important as well. Accelerator programs are expensive, but so is Harvard. Most startups suffer from people not caring versus copying them. So you probably should scream it from the rooftops and try and get more people interested and willing to try it versus keeping it secret. Second thing is that even if you keep it secret, if you are building something worthwhile, then people are going to copy it. So unless we are talking about the root central formula of something that is specifically patentable, or if someone steals that, then it's going to lose a lot of value, like in pharma or in material science. By and large, you're making a mistake if you choose to keep it quiet. I would talk about it, but just don't share the very smallest element, like the narrowest piece. Until they've transferred the money, they might pull out. And if they do that and they've given you an introduction to someone else, you can guarantee that's going to turn into a no. Somebody says no, then you don't want to go through them. You can still go through their network to get the names of people, of course. Ordinarily, the mechanisms that protect your business are across technology, network effects, or user experience. So you might say, well, I'm not worried about other companies copying us because we have the best user experience and we are really good at that. Or our technology is based on our massive brains and it's already better than everyone else's, and we're going to keep investing in that, so we're going to maintain our head start. Or you're going to say, hey, we focused on the Imperial College network first, and so we were really strong there, no one can really challenge us, and then we're going to gradually move out to LSE and then these other places and slowly absorb them like Facebook did or Uber did. So those are the mechanisms of protecting your business from competition, regardless of its size. And so you usually want to present your business as having an unfair advantage in one of those areas in order to get investors over the competition hump. It's the same thing, actually. You're going to just email the potential person that would be your end user within the company and say, hey, so-and-so, you seem like an expert in this. We're building a product just for you. I'd love your advice on this aspect that we're building. We're a super smart team from Imperial, and we are committed to helping people in your position. If you Google Ash Rust, how to incentivize your first sales leads, that template is going to, and documents are going to give you, if you go all the way and even offer compensation, so you can offer like 10 shares to people as a like small token. You can also just cut that out of the template. You don't need to put that line in. Sometimes people are now reporting that it creates an issue because people don't want there to be a conflict of interest. So maybe just asking for advice and not offering the shares is better. But try it out. In general, you got the full Monty on one side on that template, and then cut it down for something easier as well. The purpose of the £1,000, what is that, I guess for some people, it is a small amount of money. When I was going into college, I didn't have an internet connection at my residence. So £1,000 meant that kind of difference for me. If people are in that kind of position, that's what it's for. We've had just from it some examples from the Imperial Group. Some people are using it to build out their computer science models, like their ML model. They need to train it. So that's a costly activity. Some people bought laptops. Some people put their website up. Some people are doing their first development, maybe hiring a designer. So those kinds of things are usually the first thing that you would do. The honest feedback that we get from most people is that it gives them the confidence to believe that an investor actually likes the idea. And then secondly, the group sessions. There are people on the line here who have joined those group sessions, and they're every 2 weeks, where we discuss your goals and what we think you should do for the next 2 weeks. Well, my question there is, who is making money and how? If it's purely non-profit, then obviously I would say the best investors are likely people who are looking for commercial outcomes. In the event that you can get great help from a non-profit, so be it. But I would usually seek to have people in my corner who have skin in the game, who's make money when I make money. But I'm a biased capitalist, of course, so. So if you have friends and family in as without governance rights, then it's not a problem at all. And most friends and family will just sign whatever document you give them, right? Because they believe in you versus the business. It's not usually a problem as long as you don't make a mistake on the documents and they don't have any kind of governance or control. So that's where things like the SAFE and the ASA are really valuable, because it's just debt. It's not any kind of governance or control or even shares in the business at that point. So most investors, unless you have weird documents, if you haven't used a template, they're not going to care at the later stages who the specific investors are. If you have lots and lots of small investors, I recommend you put them in a roll-up vehicle via Angel List or similar tools like that, where it's usually in some kind of entity that puts them all together and then that entity invests. But yeah, those are the mechanisms to avoid any kind of complications with early stage friends and family. But most people have to do it, so it's not uncommon at all. Most Series A investors have to deal with that.